it's rare to see people doing their thing, and being Filipino and being in fashion, I get to show my art and also showcase my streetwear brand.
They say, you know, an artist is an artist, no matter the expression, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your art and your journey in art. So you're born, raised in Daly City, right?
Yes.
By first generation Filipino-American mom.
And I've always known I wanted to be in fashion. I used to like draw little sketches for my mom, kind of inspired by actually my great-grandfather, who was editorial and like always in a look. And so it runs in my family, fashion. I actually went to Parsons for college in New York.
Right.
And did so many internships there, and then started working in the industry, and here I am now.
Right, and you know, that's very typical of Filipinos. We don't like to boast or toot our own horn. But I'm gonna ask you to please do that, because you've worked with some of the big names, Hollywood A-listers, right? Tell us who you've worked with.
I designed for Lady Gaga. It was her, during that time, it was her Born This Way tour. There was a bunch of projects, like one of the bigger ones was the MAC Viva Glam ad campaign, which we had to create this like masterpiece based on all of her fans' photos and selfies, and create this like garment. The way that actually started was that I had a thesis collection called Sexual Sensory, and Nicola Formichetti, her stylist, her team reached out and then borrowed the clothing. And you know, in moments like that, you don't know what's gonna happen. You just kind of wait and see if it shows up in press. And the first thing she wore was this corset, and I was featured in American Vogue for that. And so that was super cool, right after college.
Right.
I also worked personally with Beyoncé on the Ivy Park and Adidas collection for the first launch.
You're obviously very talented. A lot of you know, experts in the industry are noticing that, have noticed that, have given you breaks, even straight out of college, which is what you just narrated to us. But why is it important for you to come out and start your own? Because in a way, being out there and starting your own, starting Homage, which is your own line, in a way it's a gamble.
It is definitely a risk, but a risk worth taking, because I feel more empowered, you know, being able to share my message. Instinctually, I just knew like I need to be my own boss. I need to be seen not from an ego, you know, intention, but to showcase like people who look like me, who are Filipino, to be able to say like I could do that too.
Right.
Because I never had that growing up. You know, I created OMAJ X. It's all about paying homage to your soul desires and like your authentic self. However you want to kind of interpret that. X is you. The variable is you. And I didn't want it to be necessarily about me, but for a community, for the world. Initially, when I started Homage, it was about learning more about my indigenous culture, my indigenous roots. And so for me, it was just really researching on textiles and the storytelling through textiles. Also creating prints of my own that tell a story.
Right.
I really wanted to create a brand that means something. And it's been such a nuance for me, this practice of spirituality and meditation and affirmations that has helped me in like really tough times of my life. And I just wanted to share those tools. And you know, the vessel that I do have control over is fashion.
I find that interesting when you say that. I feel like I have this vision of you that when you're designing your collection, you're like, maybe there's an incense burning in the background or things like that. Do you have like what inspires you? Where do you get inspiration for these designs, and do you have specific rituals, for instance, right?
So when I'm designing, like what you said, like I have my incense burning, my crystals. I actually try to meditate prior to doing anything. It really gives me, you know, just space and canceling out all the noise.
Right.
Yeah.
So who do you envision would be wearing your collection?
Someone who's like self-aware, I think, or someone that wants to learn deeper about who they are inside.
Right.
The vulnerable things, the traumatic things, but also the joy, the self-joy of just being. And I think that's what I want to, you know, give to the world.
So what is the statement that you want to make with your fashion?
Just hoping that like people are able to see the brand and understand the messaging and be able to see themselves deeper. I think that's like the biggest thing for me. As long as I'm authentic within myself, I hope that will just radiate into however anyone wants to perceive the brand.
And where do you want to take this?
Well, I want to definitely expand on assortment and get into more editorial, like where I'm really getting super creative into it. But I'm just kind of staying in the present moment right now. Because when I think about the future, it gets a little, I don't know, too much pressure.
Right.
And that, like what you said, like with the pandemic, it's changed my outlook about not being so hard on myself. And I think that's created a lot like more abundance for me.
And that's also a form of homage to yourself, right? Taking care of your peace, taking care of what's inside, because that's what matters. And it just translates to like what we wear, what we put on to cover, right? So thank you for Homage, and thank you for sharing it with us. And we wish you the best on your journey.
Thank you so much, Jannelle. Thank you.